Kurdish Pershmerga forces have reportedly captured an American ISIS fighter in Iraq. New video shows him surrendering to troops.
Where are you from?
United States.
Several sources tell CBS News that Peshmerga troops captured Virginia native Mohammed Jamal Amin in northern Iraq. Charlie D'Agata has been tracking this story from London. Charlie, what's the latest? What can you tell us?
Well, good morning to you. He's currently being detained by Kurdish forces. It's likely that he'll be transported from Sinjar, where he was captured, to a place like Erbil, from the front line to larger command centers. Local TV showed, as you said, what they said was a Virginia driver's license and a couple of credit cards. Kurdish Peshmerga forces said they captured the American ISIS fighter early this morning. It happened around 5 a.m. He approached the front line at Sinjar in northern Iraq. At first, they reportedly thought he was a suicide bomber and fired warning shots until he surrendered. In the video, a commander asks him where he's from, and he answers clearly in what sounds like an American accent, the United States. But then he says his mother is an Iraqi from Mosul, and that was where he had just come from. The Peshmerga said he entered Syria from Turkey 2 months ago and made his way to Mosul. He was reportedly trying to make it back to Turkey when he ran into Peshmerga in their territory. Anne-Marie?
So what are your sources telling you about his motive? Did he deliberately turn himself in?
That's the big question, Anne-Marie, and it's hard to know right now because I think we have to consider that this is a man who is walking on his own. When you look at the territory, if he had gone to Mosul, as he says he was, he could have, there was a much more direct route, not only to turn himself over to Peshmerga forces, but to find his way back into Turkey. The way he was going through Sinjar, that's about a 2-hour drive, and that is a very, very heavily contested area. Now, yes, the Peshmerga forces own the territory around Sinjar, but just one city over is ISIS territory. So then you have to ask the question, where was he with ISIS if he decided to, go off campus? And that'll be one of the questions that investigators are trying to figure out. It may also be if he took that route into Mosul from Syria, he would have taken that exact route back. So if he was trying to trace his footsteps back from where he had come, he would have gone through Sinjar. And at any time, this is a very fluid front line, at any time would he only have been maybe 5 miles from walking straight into Peshmerga territory. So whether he was surrendering or whether he was trying to make it back, whether he got lost, at this point, we don't know.
So you gave us a pretty good description of the region and how fluid it is. Is it surprising that he even survived this journey?
Well, the no man's land right in between Sinjar, we were there at the end of last year, and believe me, they fought for every inch of that territory just to push ISIS out of Sinjar, heavily backed up by U.S.-led airstrikes, and they just pummeled the entire area. At that point, ISIS pulled back to a place called Tal Afar, which is about about an hour down the road, and they still own that territory. So you can be driving along, even along Mosul, as you head down to Sinjar. At any one of those points, ISIS can attack and try to take off the territory, which they continue to try to do, or there will be an offensive launched by the Peshmerga to battle them back. It is constantly changing, so that would have been a very dangerous route, crossing over from ISIS territory into the hands of Peshmerga, and not a decision to be taken lightly.
Charlie D'Agata in London. Thank you so much, Charlie.